Our next speaker, she's from London, as I said, and we're very happy to have her with us. And I know she's been involved in a lot of work that IAB have been doing, especially together with IAB Europe. And her name is Anita Caras, and she's the research director in UK for Verizon Media. And she's going to talk about the future of work, remaining business as usual. And she's on the video link, I hope. So I will welcome very much Anita Caras. Welcome. You're on the screen now here in Sweden. You are on mute, I think, so you have to switch on.
Thank you very much.
So now we can hear you. Very good. You're very welcome. The stage is yours. Oh, no, oh, yeah. I hope that it will.
Perfect. Thank you ever so much. So, can you hear me? It's working. Okay. During these 8 minutes, I will share my observations on what needs to be front of mind for organisations as they reimagine the way they run their businesses and really respond to those emerging consumer and employee expectations. We have lived through numerous crises, including Black Monday, the September 11 attacks, and the global financial crisis. But this could be the most profound shock we have ever witnessed. This is a quote from Oswald Belgeland, founder and CEO of Zintio, one of the businesses we spoke to during our Future of Work research. This body of work, which we conducted throughout this year, enabled us to speak to over 1,700 business leaders in charge of companies with annual revenues of $500 million or more on a global scale. And it acknowledges that impact that the global combat pandemic has had on businesses and the emerging trends which I'm going to talk to today. The first of which is that heightened adoption of technology. And I'm sure you've heard a lot about this already today. But during the course of this year, leaders have realised that we must get comfortable with dealing with uncertainty, and not to let that need for crisis management prevent us from thinking about the future. As a result, the new business reality places technology at its core. Therefore, the first of my trends really recognises that sense of urgency and need placed on technology adoption. Businesses are looking to fast track the deployment of emerging tech, whether that's the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, machine learning, or automation. In fact, 2/3 of leaders that we spoke to believe that rapid deployment of technology is more important than ever as a result of the pandemic. And this makes sense when you consider the increased demands placed on tech infrastructures as workforces were forced to work remotely. And the fact that the majority of leaders at 68% believe increased home working will continue after the crisis means that demand for digital enablement really remains. It is clear that the crisis is not inducing a temporary interruption that must be survived, but needs to be viewed more as an opening to a new future, where business agility and allowing for the sharing of data and ideas will become key. Advanced cloud and network technologies such as 5G will be instrumental in putting businesses back on a solid footing and help position them for the next stages of growth. Let's take events as an example. The pandemic saw the immediate cancellation of events on a global scale, but also offered that chance to rethink the event space entirely. Our creative tech arm, Riot, saw this as an opportunity to adapt the new technologies to the fashion industry, an industry that on the whole has been slow in keeping pace with digital adoption. So they created a proof of concept, a fashion show that focused on the unheard stories behind the designs. Using virtual reality and live streaming experiences, they were not only able to showcase a 360-degree story world of the designers that VIPs would typically see on a runway side, but be able to broadcast that to a wider audience. This was called the fabric of reality. Here, headset participants were able to virtually wear and interact with garments, completely changing the concept of fashion as we know it. And as I said previously, this was a proof of concept, i.e. we created a niche execution from scratch to explore the impact and compare it to what you would expect from an actual fashion event. And the results were fantastic. 150 VIPs attended in VR, a mix of designers, breasts, brands, and some VR royalty. And similarly, we saw that you actually see those sort of membership at an actual event, but they attended it obviously from home. An additional 1.8 million streamed the event in real time or shortly thereafter, because of the buzz that this event generated, which was far higher than what we see from traditional live streams of fashion shows. And it didn't end there. We had 4.4 million views in ancillary content around the event, and PR in over 70 publications globally, from Brazil to France to Taiwan, generating over 19 million PR impressions and giving us positive quotes from like that you see on the screen from Forbes. But as technologies evolve, they're not just displacing or changing existing roles, as seen here with the fashion show, they're creating new ones, which leads me to my second trend, the need for increased investment in training. There is no doubt that training will be vital to prepare both employees and organisations for the future. Sadly, this is an area that we see the majority of organisations struggling with 58% either on the fence or professing that their organisations are not doing enough to reskill their employees for the future. Over and above the need for digital skills or risk management and adaptability, which all ranked in their 70s, we saw a significant growth in that recognition amongst business leaders for a need for emotional intelligence, which is really what I want to double down on my third trend, as I see empathy as being a critical business asset. Giving human skills their due weight in business strategy helps to embrace new ways of working, as it provides us with those coping mechanics for change. Fortunately, most business leaders are taking note. 3/4 of them say it'd be more important for businesses to take steps to protect and improve their employees' well-being, and almost 2/3 recognise that growth and importance of building a more empathetic and supportive organisational culture. This has become more acute in remote working structures and is a training gap that really needs to be filled. So our fourth and final business trend recognises that growing need to focus on environmental, social and corporate governance. Oswald succinctly states in the quote that you see on the screens that businesses will expose themselves to significant risk from customers, financiers and their own employee base if they ignore that need for an authentic commitment to enhancing diversity and sustainability within their businesses. And once again, this has been recognised by business leaders we've spoken to, with an increased compassion being extended to customers in need and the environment. After all, people trust other people and individuals, not brands. And it's through that humanity that we can really build that trust. So I want to end on the fact that forces like changing consumer behaviours, the acceleration of technology, and the need to be environmentally sustainable are not new. But the reality is that many of these pressures seem remote before the crisis, problems for the future, if you like. However, they have now been thrown into the spotlight and have taken centre stage for our business leaders. The pandemic has not been an originator of trends that I've spoken about, but has definitely been an accelerator of them. So I want to close on 3 guiding principles that I believe you need to take on board in order to embrace this new business reality. Firstly, be brave, but also be bold. i.e. be open to experimentation and implementation of new ideas and ways of working. Think about your technological enhancements and what they could and they should be. But last but not least, show that you care. Thank you for your attention today.
Thank you so much, Anita Caras. I'm not sure you can hear me now, but thank you so much. It were very interesting trends